make you ladder. Mayegun don come, my people make we shout. Mayegun don come, Mayegun don come, man of the masses. Mayegun don come, Mayegun diary political. Mayegun don come, this one not day of in mind. Mayegun don come, person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Mayegun don't come. My people make you shout. Mayegun don't come.
Hello there. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Thank you so much for joining me once again. And you know what to do. Please share this broadcast. I mean, after you have read the caption of the broadcast, the description as well, please share the broadcast and invite your friends as well as your not so friendly friends. Yesterday, they were crowdfunding to pay ransom to terrorists. Today, the story has changed. Break it up to save lives. Break Nigeria up from the shackle of these criminals. It is not serving anybody's interest. Even Babangida agreed.
And yes, we like Lórí YouTube. And yes, we like
The reason why you are watching this tonight is because you are not yet a victim. I mean, you are alive. And just like I said yesterday, we are all disasters waiting to happen. And in fact, I hope it is not soon.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnragì. Ayé ẹ̀ súnragì. Mayegun ti dé.
Mo ti dé. So, good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun Live. Last night, we were talking about the open endorsement of terrorism and ransom payment by a former communication minister is a pandemic. Who came out because of this family? One of their story is that the terrorists went into, they did not kidnap these people while they were traveling. They went into Federal Capital Territory in Abuja, the Duse axis of the FCT. Then there is an estate there called Saguari Layout Estate. So they went in there and they kidnapped as many people as possible. Also, while they made alarm, Arewa yesterday took over the social media, making it look like hell must let's lose. The insecurity that Bokuwari institutionalized is now just happening for the first time. But they didn't give the whole story because this is not the only family that got kidnapped from that estate. They also kidnapped this family too. And this family is, they live in Abuja. They are not Hausa. They are not Fulani. They are from Ekiti State. While the Arewas were crowdfunding for this, the first victims, where an innocent girl was killed. One of these girls was killed. The one next to her dad on the right, she was killed, and she was killed when the families were taking ransom of 30 million or thereabout to them. They demanded for they demanded for 115 million. However, other people that they kidnapped, all right, they were demanding 60 million from them. So when that family took their own ransom to go and pay them, they took the money and they told them to go to a particular part of that bush in Abuja, that same Abuja, all right? And when they got there, they found the body of one of the girls. And that was why things got escalated. But like I said, as they were, crowdfunding for this first family, and then they were calling for the head of Tifnumbu. However, the Ariyo family from Ekiti, they were also in captivity, where they couldn't really afford the 60 million. However, they were making effort to pay, but they were not like sort of viral like the other ones, until yesterday when the terrorists killed one of the girls, one of the Ariyos, because they were delaying in paying the ransom. And this time around, now that they know that Nigerians can publicly crowdfund to pay ransom, that is their situation now. Now that the terrorists know very well, they are no longer taking the 60 million anymore. They have now kind of increased the ransom. If it's going to take the whole of you, Arewa, or the whole country to raise the money, then you probably could raise nearly 1 billion too to pay ransom. And by the time you add this family from Zamfara, who also got kidnapped, and they're asking for 100 million for them. All right. So maybe you can crowdfund 800 million naira. So they jacked it up and they're like, we are going to kill all of them if you don't pay. That is the situation as we speak. All right. Ariyozo and this other family, right? The Amidas or what? They're going to be killed. And the Nigerian military, starting with the Nigeria government, it is just like a business as usual. It's like nothing is happening. 140, I told you yesterday, 143 days. I was wrong. It's actually, today we make it 150 days since they've kidnapped these youth corpers. And they are asking for 50 million on each of them in Nigeria. And if you kind of think of it recently, they seems to have been more emboldened. Somebody was like, where do they take all this money to? That is where the collusion comes in. These ragtag criminals that you see who just move into your communities. Now, Abuja is the federal capital territory of Nigeria. That's Nigeria capital. Oh. That place should have been considered safest, Abi. But you see all the forests around Abuja, just like all the forests across the country. Young men terrorists like this that look haggard like this, have been impossible for the Nigeria government to tame. Do you understand? Now, when you ask about the billions that people pay in ransom, do these guys spend the money?
See them.
Mommy, see your picking. Show, come. Mommy, see your picking. Mommy.
And you know the situation of Nigeria right now? There is nobody that cannot be kidnapped. Currently, they are already cooking the propaganda to distract you instead of facing the problem head on. All right? Propagandas like, oh, these kidnappers, all these Fulanis, all the Northerners, you know, like the way they cook it, right? To make it look like, oh, this is a conspiracy against the Tinubu's government. Remember, they are actually not really going after this terrorist per se. Here you get, they are playing defensive instead of playing offensive and rounding them up. These guys are existing not far away from the FCT. And just like other states as well, right? They are not far away from where they can be located and rounded up. So the action, the directive, the political will to make that happen will come from who you call your presidiots. I mean, a lot of you should have possibly realized that by now. You cannot, what do you call it? You cannot elect Tifnumbu and expect a country that is functioning like Obama is the president. You know that stuff. You can't. The political will to actually really, you know, go after this terrorist is not there. And we all know the reason why. So there is nobody that cannot be kidnapped now. And you don't even have to travel anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere. You can be in your house with your family and they can break in and take you and the negotiation will begin. And you may never live to tell the story. People said all security is local. People know their own communities better. Therefore, they can protect their communities better. But also, everyone remember that when people reacted, especially the Southerners, when we reacted, the political criminals from the South, for the first time, they felt it and they managed to kind of push something. We saw the reactions. And the reactions that came from the people who are who are currently protecting terrorists in the name of what? Because when people ask that, what exactly do these people want? And I ask, if you have not been paying attention, maybe you should now. The primary goal is to ensure that people were violently chased out of their lands and their communities and all that, pushed them into IDP camps, all right? And afterward, bring in the Fulani terrorists to occupy those spaces and give them government protection. What about the money for the ransom? That is where those who are running the gun runners in Nigeria, which are also those who are supposed to keep everyone safe, the security guys. They have become so compromised, infiltrated, that today in Nigeria, nobody is immune from being kidnapped, not even your politicians. Not even the politicians that are buying bulletproof cars and all of that. A lot of them are also going to fall victims of this. Some of them have chosen, especially from northern Nigeria, some of them have chosen not to go back to the north. And if they ever go back to their constituency, go back to their state, they just go to their state capitals. So you open your eyes. You allow the drug dealer, kleptomaniac, demented Kolu to be your president. And he's consolidating the power now. You understand? You allow that. You allow the man, whose tenure when he was governor of Borno State was when Nigeria was put on the map as a terrorist country. You allow that to fly. This is not all of you. I am talking to you if you are watching me from the Sharia North right now. You allowed the man that allowed school children to be kidnapped just for political gain. You allowed that to be your vice president. And today, you have the terrorists who will take anybody, anyone. And if they can't get money from you, then they kill you. If they get money from you, they kill you. And your government is like, we are doing everything to bring, on the one hand, though, they said, Tifnumbu's government has brought down the insecurity. That is not true. It is not true. And the fact that it is not true, even makes it worse. Because it simply means that they are giving themselves some credit of what they haven't done. People are still being kidnapped in a way that we have actually never seen before. It is like something is coming. Do you get that now? This is like where you can sit down and be like, something is coming. Something that is going to shake Nigeria to its foundation. And finally, you are going to witness, if it is not revolution, it's going to be a civil war. Write it down now as you are watching. It's not a wish. It's not, oh, so you want Nigeria. Why, it's not me. I have told you this before. Nigeria is going to break up. All right? And when I say break up, number one, it will start from make everybody bear your own papa name. Last, everybody is going to go back to that regional system. Look at me very well. Everyone is going to go back to it. And from there we go say bye-bye to all ourselves. But it is not going to be because you love Nigeria so much in your head that you would wish that never to happen or whatever, right? It is not that. It is not because I, Mayegun, have been praying and I have been working that I live long enough to witness the breakup of Nigeria. Because until that happens, let me explain something to you. Literally, right? Until Nigeria breaks up. You see this terrorism, their sponsor, using the system of Nigeria to protect them. They will lead all of us there eventually. Because when Nigeria breaks, right, you see all these terrorists, Uthman Danfodio descendants, who have this fraudulent Islamic ideology, all right, they will no longer have the audacity to cross any border that is drawn and say, listen, this is where your Sharia ends. If you cross this border, you no go back. Until that time where every part, like every region, would have their own army. This is not going to be your Nigerian army. This is going to be the army. If it's going to be the Igbos, it's going to be the Igbo army. If it's going to be the Yorubas, it's going to be the Yoruba army. Even if they break Nigeria into 6 regions using your 6 geopolitical zones, until when that comes, until when you understand what will happen, if you allow terrorists to gain an inch of land in Yoruba land, for example, you know what will happen to you. So as a Yoruba man, as an Igbo man, as a Ijaw man, or wherever we all ended up as then, even as the Kwarara fans, the Middle Beltans. So this time around, you can have Middle Belt United Army. The army that the Middle Beltans are, you will be fortified, armed, and there will be no goddamn shake anywhere, pulling any string, telling you that you can't, or the type of weapons you can get for yourself. So these criminals are going to push us there. That's the point I'm trying to make. So break Nigeria up may be something that is too much for you to take in, simply because to you, it is the call for war. Nigeria is not at war. They told you, and they are still telling you, Baba, which country have you seen where their citizens have turned to game for terrorists? If they are not killing them en masse, they are kidnapping them en masse. And they are doing so right in the public glare. If you kidnap people in the UK and the news breaks that you have kidnapped people here, Baba, you have declared war to discourage others that if you try this, you are going to be killed. You will be lucky to be alive when they finally come for you. But in Nigeria, they are on the one hand, asking you to continue to pray to God, continue to pray to Allah, to bring protection over you. But the people saddled with the responsibility of protecting you, people paid to protect you, are now trading you with terrorists. So eventually, you are going to not listen to them anymore. We are going to get there. Do you get that? You are going to realize that the interest that these guys have is completely in contrast with your own supposed interest of what they have in mind. And you see all this conflict of interest. Nigeria is not at war. Nigeria is not at war. But people are dying every day in the hands of terrorists. Money, billions of money, hundreds of billions of money are moving and circulating within Nigeria's system. These are ransom money paid to terrorists, and not a single one has been successfully traced or the criminals arrested. Not a single one, per se. They will present some faceless, criminals, put gun in front, present guns in their, in front of them, and say, oh, these are the kidnappers that have been terrorizing the Abuja, blah, blah, blah. And then you'll be like, okay, thank God, though, they have arrested all the terrorists that are terrorizing Abuja. Then the following day, breaking news, 27 people have been kidnapped in Abuja. And you'll be like, Shebi police paraded something, because they are not honest. They are not. And these are the things, some people left Benue. They were going to Enugu. All right. And immediately they left the park. Okay. Just about 20 miles out of the park, out of the city. Baba, they were kidnapped. 45 of them. These ones were traveling. 45 of them. They are in the captivity of the terrorists as we speak. You have been fighting terrorism in Nigeria, at least officially, since 2010. That makes it 14 years. over 100,000 people have been slaughtered by the terrorists. And more than 10 million people have been made homeless, and they are now living in refugee camps. And refugee camp is just they are now living in IDP camp, right? Internally displaced person. What should normally displace people in any reasonable country is natural disaster, landslide, earthquake, forest fire, flooding. These are the things that are natural disasters that can displace people in safe countries. In Nigeria, terrorists are displacing people. Over 10 million people, including women and children, especially women and children. They are those in the larger percentage, scattered all over the place. They are still not safe. And you actually don't want to probably know the conditions they are into. The same country, the same criminal government, completely. Rather than help them, they are making money off them. But you are not at war. Don't cause war in Nigeria. Let us pray to God. All these things you are talking, what do you want us to do? No, don't do anything. Because, listen, when people tell me, let us just pray to God to come and help us, I kind of feel like that you are trying to tell me to stop talking about it and just pretend that it is not happening. Let's pretend that it's not happening. Must you talk about all these things like, let's just pretend it's not happening? Simply because at least you are not a victim yet. How do you know all this? How did you know all this? At least you are not a victim yet. Oh, I'm not a victim yet. All these things you are talking about, they are strange to me. Because I think some people are just using this to want to tarnish the image of the government. The government is trying. Let us just pray for the soldiers. Let's just, no. What is wrong with you? I said there is no political will to stop all of this. And you could be next that your picture will be appearing on my screen. Sadly. Yes, it could be you. It could be anybody closer to you. As I was talking about the insecurity in Nigeria and how this spreads all over the place and everywhere, all these are kind of underreported. I was here when I received a call about a family member who got kidnapped. And they were negotiating for ransom. In Ijebu, Fulani terrorists from Futagalon, Abi Futasoro, straight to Sokoto. God knows how many. We are talking about 1,000 to 1,300 miles to Ijebu. They kidnapped my family member, a brother, just between Odogbolu, Ishagam, Ogere. That's where. And when he came back, listen to this. So we are lucky they didn't kill him or kill the people they sent to go and pay the ransom. They took that one too, making it 2 family members in the captivity of a terrorist who speaks Yoruba, but they are Fulanis. My own brother. So it could be you. It could be anybody. And at this rate now, none of us is indeed immune from it. You know? Because there is no political will to stop it. A Nigerian soldier is earning 50,000 naira a month. That is if they even pay him. They give them feeding allowance of 150 naira. Operational allowance. They call it operational allowance, 1,500 naira a day. So that if they want to eat, if they want to this or that, 1,500 naira. Well, the 1,500 is actually for the gas. As a soldier yourself, it is 500 naira a day. 500 naira a day is 15,000 naira a month, Abi. Add that to their 50,000. A soldier that is going to go and face the killer weapon of the terrorist. The terrorists that are harmed by the same politicians who decided to underpay a soldier. Put your life on the line. It's intentional. So now you go come, they say morale high. Some of them said they are doing it because they wanted to defend their fatherland and the rest of that. It is not completely true. A lot of people are joining police and joining Nigeria military because there is no job. They want to be paid. Then pay them well. No, they won't pay them well. It's all intentional. So that, before the fire of the terrorist catch up with you, the fire in your belly is already dead as a soldier. Then they give you, all these weapons that, then you continue to get conflicting conflicting orders. Go, don't go, stop, stay there, come back, stop, retreat, don't face them, don't respond. You know what I mean? Like, soldiers have shared their experiences on this platform, just so you know. Those who have been like ex-soldiers who left Nigeria military and they left without even resigning. Few ones resigned and left. No, like they ended up elsewhere. It's all planned, it's all intentional. They ordered weapons, they spent trillions, but they won't deploy them. Because the weapons are pretty much bought to suppress any uprising, revolution. Now then you go say Nigeria have fighter jets, they have fighter drones. Nigeria have drones, unmanned plane that will drop weapons anywhere. And there is no pilot in it, there's nothing. That is when you get to know. But deploy them, map the terrorist areas. No, they won't do that because it is going to clash with the political profits that they make from the chaos. It's sad, isn't it? Now, I think on the 7th of January was when this started, though. But on the 1st of January, 2024, you see that Kogi, Lokoja, Kene Express Road, which is also an hotspot like Kaduna, Abuja Kaduna Expressway. These are two hotspots when you are going up north in Nigeria where you can get missing completely and they may never see you again. So what happened? Talking about security, all security is local. If they have a political will the political will of at least stopping the jihad. If I know about the jihad, if you know about the jihad, if you see the criminals shouting jihad and shouting Allahu Akbar when they slaughter innocent people, when they are sleeping, that means the government of Nigeria knows about the jihad. They know that this is not farmers others clashes. All right? This is not about Christian Muslim clashes. No. It is actually war waged by people who are also in government, funding them, protecting and shielding them. While those who are doing all the money laundering, gun running, supply of weapon and all that, they continue to do that. And every time they feel like, the supply is not coming in, sooner, they can invade the military base in northern Nigeria. You made the Shekau terrorist, your vice president. You are now acting surprised that they are coming inside your houses to kidnap you. Are you trying to be kind of funny? Under Shekau Shetima. Let me give you his background again, in case if you have forgotten. In 2014, they staged one of the shocking kidnapping conspiracy. They played with the lives of over 270 school children, girls. They plotted everything and they executed everything. And the man behind it all was everywhere, crying blue mother. So let me tell you this story. They said they received the report that the Boko Haram, they were coming to attack Chibok and some communities in Borno State. Now, this security report or intelligence report means they are either going to provide enough military and security in that area, or they would probably have to evacuate the people. Now, here is actually the report they said they got. The intelligence report said they were coming to take school children. And Chibok is a Christian community in Borno State, in case if you don't know. The Borno Chibok girls they kidnapped, they were Christians. Do you understand? Yes. They were children of Christians. They were Christians. And that was why when they kidnapped them, the first thing they did was to give all of them hijab, if you can still remember. They gave all of them hijab. They convert and they said they should be reciting Al-Quran that somebody was reading. And they were reciting after that person, that terrorist, in case if you have forgotten as well. Now, kidnapping those school children, and the kind of misleading and mismanagement of information around the time to give time to the terrorists to settle down, divide the girls, and put them in different camps. Shitty man was involved. Strongly involved. How? The WAEC came and they said, with these security reports, and we are trying to have, they were going to sit for their final exam for WAEC. West African Examination Council, they call it WAEC. And the security report came and they said they shouldn't hold it there. Guess who was the Minister of Education then, who wrote a letter to the then governor? Shitty man. Werewike. Werewike was the Minister of Education under Goodluck Egbere Jolantan. He was the one who wrote the letter as the minister and said, listen, we would have to, number one, postpone the examination for this particular part of Borno State because of this security report. Or we would love to move all the schools in this axis, move them to the state capital. And by that is a Maiduguri. So that they can sit for the examination in the state capital. You know, Borno governor, Shitty man, wrote back to Werewike and said, no, the children and the schools will be safe. We are already providing security for them. We cannot postpone the examination, and it will be too expensive for their parents to move them to state capital to go and sit for the examination. So that was the end of it. A week later, Boko Haram struck. And guess what happened? You know how they played the entire country that time, yeah? As Boko Haram kidnapped those school children, breaking news, over 200 school children have been kidnapped in Nigeria. Because it was already planned, the news and the content of what they are going to release to international media, they've released them. So they said immediately that news got to Egbere Jolantan. They called the governor. Now, before then, they said the governor now told the parent it is safe to bring their children into the schools. While the children were in their dormitory, the principal of the school, whose child she's a woman, whose child was supposed to also be in that school that day, because her own child was also sitting for the examination. She withdrew her own children that particular day. So when the terrorists came and took all the girls, all right, they killed 5 of them and injured some who broke their legs because there are so many. However, they successfully, and then some jumped down, according to those who escaped. Some jumped down from the trucks they used in taking all of them. Okay, some jumped down and they call it like they escaped. Now, why that was going on? Breaking news: they have Boko Haram have kidnapped over 200 school children in Chibok. How is that even possible? People started analyzing, doing analysis like how many trucks is it going to take them to move all those children undetected? It's impossible. How many terrorists will actually carry out the operation? Yeah, to now be able to now add over 270 children, girls with them, and still move undetected. So while people were doing those analyses, back and forth and the rest of that, yeah, they just broke the news again. They have been found. Breaking news. The Chibok girls have been found. All of them have been found. And the terrorists are on the run. I won't forget that period. I will never forget that period. It was the moment of Laya Muhammad. So everybody just felt like, okay, good. They have found them. How is that even possible? How can you take, that? Baba, that is where the story began. No? Good luck, Egbere Jolantan. They said for straight 1 week, they believe that since they said they have been found, there is no cause for alarm anymore. Until when the women of Chibok started protesting and the world started seeing it. And then the next thing, I think it was like a day after or 2 days after, Boko Haram just released that video of the girls reciting Quran. And guess who went to America? APC, Egbekegbe, including Shitty Man. Shitty Man was crying on camera. He said Jonathan abandoned them. That when these girls were being kidnapped, he kept calling Jonathan. And Jonathan did not respond until they took all the girls. He started crying. It was the governor. He was in White House with Obama. They went to America because of this Chibok. People didn't know they were laying the foundation for 2015. You understand? To the point that Obama's campaign director became a strategist for APC in 2014, 2015. In case if you have forgotten this Chibok thing. And that cost Jonathan his own Luto terms too, his own term of looting. He couldn't continue. The gangsters have taken over. In fact, they were threatening him too. This election, if you try anything, Nigeria is not safe anymore under you. Change. Then the terrorists took over power. And they now institutionalized terrorism. Baba, hey, Kajuru happened, Kankara happened, and all of the, including, we are talking about a massive school kidnapping. And you know what they turned that into? Today, they are raising money, crowdfunding for ransom. They're crowdfunding ransom for terrorists. Back then, it was the governors that are paying the ransoms. However, it got to a stage that because when they paid the terrorists, they will now take all the children. I say, they have been released, though. Thank God they have been released. So they will now take all the children and take them to government house. In some cases, they even put on a jersey on them. It's not like a football jersey, like wearing the same attire and go to go and meet Boko Haram. And the one they did in Casino, what do you call it? The one where, there is actually one again in Yobe. I want to remember that one where they kidnapped school children and they kept one up to today. And the Nigeria media kept reporting it that she's now married. A child was kidnapped by terrorists and they converted her to Islam. Nigeria media announced it. She's now a Muslim. Okay. Then the next stage, they said she's now married. Now, when they now address her, they say, she's with her family. And that's the story of institutionalizing terrorism by these criminals. So at some point, they stopped paying. They stopped. So if you get kidnapped, you're on your own. So family members of the victims, they started selling their properties to pay the ransom. Majority of them started going into debt. They were borrowing money for ransom. And some of them, till today, they have never recovered and they may never recover. So situation has gotten to where they're like, sure, be careful. Even when you are like NYSC serving Nigeria, all right, there are some of you, listen, there are some of you, your children are currently, you are not living in Nigeria, you are there in your comfort zone in America and all these places.